If you want to be a successful entrepreneur, I need you to know that now is not the time for you to prioritize rest. In fact, I want you to forget about rest altogether. No self-care, no taking breaks, no taking time off to spend time with your family. In fact, I want you to even forget that you have a family. If you want to succeed in this industry, you need to go all in. In fact, sleep when you're dead. You don't need it. You need to do what you need to do to get your business to where you want it to be. And that means not taking a single break. Okay. No. Y'all know that is BS. I would never come on here and tell y'all that taking a break is wrong if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur. In fact, I have built my entire business to tell you the complete opposite. But if you have been on the internet for pretty much any amount of time, then you have probably heard that same or similar narrative come from a lot of these like YouTube, LinkedIn tech bros. They sit up here and tell you that you should not be resting, that you should be going all in, when in fact they are just using the hustle culture to try and sell you their course about building a course on courses. It's a scam. It's all a scam. But luckily for both you and I have learned from those tech bros, and I have made it my business to not be one of them. And I have built this company to make sure that you understand that rest is your most important business strategy, and that you can do both things. Both can exist. You can take time out for yourself while also building the successful business of your dreams. But for you, you may be thinking, Alisha, it is too late. I have already drank the Kool-Aid. I cannot get out of my head that I am not able to rest. I feel like I can't rest. I'm not where I want to be. I just want to relax. Trust me, I have been there. I have been an entrepreneur in some capacity for many, many years. I'm talking about over a decade at this point. And I have done a little bit of everything. I have coached entrepreneurs. I have made and sold jewelry. I have blogged. I have worked with different companies. I've done a little bit of everything. And when I was coming up in this space, I know I'm sounding old, but when I was coming up in this space, I didn't know any other entrepreneurs. None of my friends or family at the time were running their own business. So who did I have to look up to? It was either really old white men who knew nothing about building an online business. What's the internet? Or it was these tech bros who were building these amazing online companies, but they were also the ones who were telling us that we didn't have time to rest and that we could sleep when we were dead. So I took the tech bro route because I figured they understood what I was going through. They're successful. I might as well follow what they're doing. So I spent plenty, too many to count, years following what they were doing. And it ended up with me spending countless years hustling towards building my business, but also neglecting my own well-being and not really putting forth the effort in myself that I actually needed. But these entrepreneurs at the time that I was looking up to, they were all wildly successful. And I knew, as someone who did not want to have to go back to working a typical 9-to-5, I knew that I needed to make money. I knew that I needed to be visible, and I knew that I needed to put myself out there as much as possible. So I followed suit, and I ended up working myself to the bone. I showed up every single day at all hours of the day. I launched programs that I really wasn't excited about, but I knew that they would make me money. And I implemented marketing strategies that just left me feeling drained. And over time, even though I felt my body failing me, I just ignored the crippling headaches. I ignored the brain fog, and I pushed myself way too close to the limit in the name of entrepreneurship. And what happened? I hustled my way right into burnout over and over and over again. That's right. I didn't stop. I kept going. I would take a day off. I would pop a Tylenol to get rid of the headache. I would take a quick nap to try and relieve myself of the brain fog. But I always went back to those same habits that put me into burnout. And guess what? Girl, I still wasn't making the money that I needed. So yes, I ended up both exhausted, burnt out, unhealthy, and basically broke. What was the point? That is what I ended up asking myself. If I am running myself into a hole like this and I'm still not where I want to be, what was the point of all of this? The burnout got so bad to a point where I felt like my brain was literally made out of mush. The headaches, the exhaustion, the sleep deprivation, like I just could not get myself together, and I could not figure out why I felt so terrible. Even down to working with my clients. My clients were amazing, but getting on those calls irritated me. I did not want to do it. I knew that in order for me to be the mom that I wanted to be the entrepreneur that I wanted to be, that something needed to change, and it needed to change fast. And this is probably going to sound a little bit dramatic, but I quit. Yep, I quit. I shut down my entire business. I let all of my clients go at the end of our terms. I shut everything down. I quit because I didn't know any other way to stop the cycle that I was in. And after that, I spent a year on my healing journey. It was like a low budget Eat, Pray, Love movie. Like, I chilled. I did nothing. And I ended up going through therapy and learning how to properly take care of myself and figuring out who I was outside of this title of entrepreneur. And let me tell you, it was worth it. And I learned so much, not only about myself, but how toxic the hustle culture is, and how a lot of these tech bros and girls are only teaching us those strategies for their own benefit. And friend, come here. I am going to hold your hand when I say this. You are probably about 2 seconds away from being exactly where I was just a few years ago. You're probably already feeling it. You're exhausted, annoyed. You're still not seeing the movement in your business that you desire, but you keep working, you keep doing more, you keep showing up, and something is still just not clicking. And I know that you feel like you have to keep going. I know you feel like you can't take a break until you have fully deserved it or until you have fully earned it. But I'm here to tell you that is not the way to become successful. You are going to hurt yourself, and I don't want you to go through what I have been through. I don't want that for even my worst of enemies. Creating more, working more, taking on more clients is not going to get you to where you desire to be. But you know what will? Scaling back and learning how to properly take better care of yourself so that you have that mental and physical clarity to be able to think your business through and take it to where you want it to be. But you can't begin to make rest a priority until you stop believing some of the most common myths or lies around rest and entrepreneurship. So change doesn't start with what you do. It honestly starts with what you think. And if you want to begin making yourself a priority, if you want to keep showing up in your business but in a healthier way, then you need to get over some of these most common lies. Lie number 1, rest equals laziness. So you're probably thinking, if I stop, it means that I'm not working hard enough. But actually, like I've gone and said over and over and over and over again, rest is actually your most impactful business strategy. Because when you can let your mind recoup, regenerate, you wake up feeling so much more refreshed so that you can have a better outlook on your business. You're able to come up with better strategies. You have more energy to give to those clients or to get more clients. You have the fun and the tenacity that you need to run a great business. But you know what you can't do? Run a great business when you're exhausted. Lie number 2, you're probably also thinking, I'll rest when the work is done. You and I both know that's a lie. The work is never done. Your to-do list is probably longer than a CVS receipt right now, right? Yeah, it is. The work will never be done. There is always something to do. There is always a milestone you want to hit. There will always be a goal that you want to achieve. So why put off rest for something that is never going to end? Lie number 3, rest is a luxury that I have to earn. You don't have to earn rest. You have to earn money, sure. But rest is actually your right. You don't have to earn it. Rest is not this beautiful shiny badge that you receive at the end of the day if you've checked enough stuff off of your to-do list. Rest is your right. It is a necessity. And I believe if we start treating it as a necessity, then it removes a lot of the guilt that comes when we do try to take a break. Another lie or myth that we often believe as entrepreneurs is, if I rest, then I'll fall behind. Says who? You became an entrepreneur, I'm sure, because you had this great idea, of course, but you probably also became an entrepreneur because at some level you wanted to make your own rules. You wanted to be in charge of your day. You want to be in charge of your schedule. You want to be in charge of your to-do list and what you focus on. So why are you not taking full advantage of that? No one can say that you are behind but you. That's something that you created in your head. It is not true. So adding in rest to your day does not mean you're behind. You are literally checking something else off of your to-do list. You are the one who sets your own rules. You're the one who sets your own boundaries, your own milestones. So stop looking at rest as something that is going to hold you back. And another really common lie that a lot of us often believe is that rest is selfish. It is selfish. It is selfish. That's the point. You have to be your best self in order for you to give to everyone else. You cannot run a good business if you are exhausted. You cannot be a great mom if you are always irritable. You cannot serve your community if you can't serve yourself. Rest is selfish. And I want us to get this out of our head that being selfish is a bad thing. Yes, on a certain level, in some situations, selfishness can be a bad thing. But when it comes to saying no, when it comes to prioritizing your me time, when it comes to eating better or moving your body or taking a break or doing something that brings you joy, those things are not the bad kind of selfish. You actually need to be a little bit selfish, and I know it feels weird, in order for you to be the best business owner, the best family member, to be the best coach, the best author, whatever it is that you are holding on to. If you want to serve and give the best of you, then you need to treat yourself with a little bit more care and stop being afraid of being selfish. So I know it's hard. I know that it was really hard for us to get over these lies and these myths that have literally been ingrained into our brains over the course of however many years. It took me a lot of time and a lot of therapy, trust me, to get through it myself. But as someone who has made it to the other side, I am telling you that it is not impossible for you to get to where you want to be. It is not impossible for you to change that mindset that you probably have about rest. It is not impossible for you to now start implementing rest into your day and making it a priority. No matter how far you are in your business or no matter how new you are in your business, there is still time for you to change. So if you are someone who has listened to this video and you're like, you know what? I believe that lie. I believe that lie too. Then here is a little exercise that I want you to do. I want you to sit down in your journal, a piece of paper, whatever, pull it out, and I want you to write down every lie around self-care or rest that you have been believing. Write that down on one side of the page. On the next other side of the page, I want you to write the truth. What is the actual truth to that lie? So if your lie is, I believe that rest equals laziness, then what's true? Rest is actually a way for me to do the work that I desire and have the actual energy and capacity and mental clarity to make that happen. So I want you to take that lie, or whatever lies that you have been believing that has been holding you back from making rest a priority, and flip that into the truth. Flip it into something positive. And whenever those lies begin to come up, whenever you go to take your nap, whenever you go to take that vacation or to put your out of office up, whenever those lies come around, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to pull out that sheet of paper, pull out that journal, and I want you to read those lies back to yourself, but also face yourself and show yourself the truth. Read those truths and keep doing that over and over again. And I promise you, eventually, it probably won't happen immediately, but you will get over those lies that have been ingrained in us from the hustle culture, and you will find yourself being more open to the idea of making rest a priority. So if you are an entrepreneur, specifically a woman entrepreneur, because I do it for the girlies, and you want more advice and practical tips about how to make rest a priority while also building a successful business, then be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. And also like this video and leave a comment below and let me know what you think. So thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this, and I will see you soon.